Hey everybody, we're going to tie the usual Fran Betters pattern, and we're going to use gray thread and a 94840 Mustad in size 16. This is Fran's recipe from the book, so he uses gray, and then I'm going to use a snowshoe hair for everything else, and this is a one from Quebec from Magpie, and I split the foot so you can get access to the inside there where the beautiful hair is to tie this fly. And actually, pretty much all Fran's flies, he seems to dress the hook first with thread. So we're going to dress the entire hook with the thread. The story goes that Fran, it was kind of a gloomy day, and he was tying haystacks, and he tied several hundred, and got bored and annoyed and kind of looked over and saw a pile of materials that he had tossed on his desk, and on top was a rabbit foot. He picked it up and looked at it and was like, "Oh, it's kind of a snowshoe. It's from the winter, probably waterproof. Let me tie it like a haystack." That's kind of what's going on here. Take a little bit of that curly hair, remove the underfur, and tie a little stubby tail. So I didn't like the length of that, it was too long, so tying a little stubby tail here. So he tied a bunch of these, threw them in a box, in a pile, in like a box of haystacks, and then in comes a very good customer of his and a good friend of his father's named Bill Phillips. And Bill was also good friends with Ray Bergman. He was an author, tremendous angler, and he's shooting the breeze with Fran at the tying desk, and notices this cup full of these flies and starts picking them up, taking a look at them, and grabs a bunch of them to go fish. So here I'm at the midpoint of the shank, and I grab a much larger clump, and I'm going to tie that in right there at the middle, and do a bunch of thread dam wraps up in front to kind of prop it up a little bit, and then we're going to remove this back fluff so that we can kind of taper it into the body. So Bill takes the fly out. Obviously, it works. Comes back and is like, "Fran, it works. It's amazing." So it becomes kind of one of the flies that Fran starts to tie, and it becomes Bill's go-to fly. And often he said that he would be fishing the fly, and people would see him, and they weren't catching, and he was catching, and they would go, "What fly are you using?" And he would say, "The usual." So that kind of became its name. Fran wanted to call it Phillips Usual, but Bill did not want, I think, his name in there, so it just became the Usual. So I'm taking some of that underfur that we have left over from cutting a clump of the hair for either the tail and or the wing, and I'm just dubbing that on the body now. And it's pretty easy to dub. It's very soft and fluffy. In this particular case of the snowshoe foot from that I got from Magpie, it's a beautiful dun color. That underfur is kind of gray, and the part of the foot and the fur of the foot that you want for the tail and wing is white. So it's kind of a neat little mix. But in Fran's book, he asks Bill what he loves about the usual and why he thinks it's such a special fly. And I'm putting that dubbed body as like a dam in front of the wing there. Bill answers that what he loves about the usual is that it skitters really well. So if you overshoot the lane that you wanted to cast the fly into, you can skitter it along the surface back towards you to get it into the lane you want, and it won't disturb the fish. So you can kind of line the fly up a little bit. He also likes this fly because at the end of the drift, as drag sets in, the drag will pop the fly down under the water, and then he can sort of retrieve it like a nymph, very, very slow retrieve, and then he can release and give it some slack, and the fly will pop up. So it kind of works, he works it sort of like a nymph in the surface, emerging. You can also fish it like a dry fly. He can skitter it. So there's a lot of options and a lot of versatility to the fly, and that's why he loved it. So a great fly that can enable you to do all kinds of presentations and to mimic all kinds of stuff. Of course, you could use dyed snowshoe rabbit feet to get any sort of color you want. But this is the standard. This is the pattern as Fran lays it out. And that's the finished fly. And there's a little close-up of it. And that's all. Hope you enjoy that and give that fly a shot. All right, take care. Bye.